Hey guys! Today we're making the miniature deep fryer that you saw in yesterday's update. Hope you'll enjoy. I first made a stencil for the sides and then transferred that to the metal from a chocolate tin. The reason why I didn't use the reshapeable cake pan is simply because the sections weren't large enough to fit the sides of the deep fryer. I cut that out using metal shears and then rolled out a sheet of dark grey clay. You can use any color of scrap clay for this. Cut 4 sections, one for each side, and put them together to form the base. I added liquid clay to the corners to add strength and then baked that for a few minutes. Then sanded down the top as well as the corners where the metal meets. You can use silver colored paint to cover any visible spots of clay. You also want to make a simple bottom piece, bake that and then paint all the clay pieces black using acrylic paint. For the heating element, I stacked a couple of sheets of clay and cut out the basic shape. Then baked that and used a file to round off the edges. Painted black. Cut and fold a strip of metal to fit around the top portion and glue this in place. I used the reshapeable cake pan for this. Then drill 2 holes and make the heating element itself from a piece of wire. I used 0.8mm wire. Then take 2 more pieces of wire and use this to create the frame for the scooping mesh bucket things. I used 0.6mm wire for this. Use the clay to make some simple handles and bake. I then took some black scrap clay and cut out a piece in the size I wanted the mesh part to be. And for the mesh, I'm using the netting from the tea strainer I showed in one of my previous tutorials. If you want, you can take the mesh and push it around the clay to form the bucket shape, or you can cut a piece of mesh for each side and glue these together. Last things you want to make are just a few buttons and some handles for the sides of the deep fryer. Glue these in place after baking and add details with acrylic paint. I know some of you don't like when I add the brown and black paint to my utensils and appliances. You don't have to do this, but I personally think it looks better when it looks old and slightly dirty or rusty. Then seal with glaze, and you're done.